It's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by top manager Sam Jones. Sam, how you doing, mate?
I am good, Daniel. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. You're looking well, or do I have to expose you that you were just munching on some bacon fries before we started this interview? Can't
Yes,
blame
mate.
you. Love a bacon fry.
Mate, I saw them in the shop and I just thought, you know what? I'm going to have them, but they've not really hit the spot. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, really? They've lost their
No.
luster. It used to always be bacon fries and scampi fries in the pub, didn't it? Like pinned
I
up.
like, Danny, that's what I thought they were, scampi fries.
Ah, that's it.
That's what I thought they were. And it's like big, I've not ate bacon for ages and ages and ages. Don't really eat it, if I'm honest.
You turned
But
Jewish.
yeah.
You finally turned to Judaism.
No, not turned to Jewish. I don't know. I just don't eat it. Don't buy it. Don't eat it. But I thought they were scampi fries. I thought, yeah, I really fancy them. And then, yeah, well, a bit of a bag of disappointment, if I'm honest. But yeah,
Bag of disappointment. Take that, whoever makes bacon fries. Anyway, let's move on to more boxing related stuff than bacon fries and other maize-based snacks. You've got Jack Catterall, obviously. You've seen a number of tweets and stuff recently on social media. When are we going to see him out, and when is he going to nail down that big fight?
do you know what it is, Danny? Right? Like what I said. There's no secret. We want the Regis Prograis fight, right? There's no secret that I've been pressing for that fight, been pushing for that fight, but sometimes you don't always get what you want to get. Do you know what I mean? And like it would have been a voluntary, so you don't. I'm in a position where, we're in a position where I don't believe that we're like going around, oh, we want this, we deserve. I just think due to Jack's performance against Taylor, which again I don't like keep bringing it up and constantly bringing it up, but I have to because it's relevant to this conversation. Everybody thought Jack won that fight, so I believe the sanctioning bodies should have placed Jack mandatory, immediate mandatory, right? And even like my biggest haters or someone who doesn't even like Jack can surely agree with what I'm saying. He deserved another crack, whether it's against Taylor or whether it's against one champion in another organization, whether it's the WBO, BA, the IBF, WBC. And I think he was unfairly ranked after that. That's my position. So I just think that Jack deserves a world title shot. It's not looking like that to be the case. We've not given up by any stretch, but because I still say, look, we're ready to go. If Devin Haney's making weird demands or whatever, we're ready to go. We're ready to make that fight because I heard there's a few issues making that fight. And I know Sandor Martin is the guy that has to challenge for the belt if the Haney fight is not made. Now, Sandor Martin against Regis Prograis is a disaster for DAZN. They don't want to see that fight. I'll be real. I don't really want to see that fight, nor does anybody, because Sandor Martin's style is not really the most exciting. But listen, nevertheless, Sandor Martin's in his position. He's in his position. So we have to keep Jack busy. So when I saw obviously all the outrage when the Linares stuff was posted, and like, look, yeah, of course, Linares is on. He's on a bit of a dip in form. He's at the tail end of his career for sure, but he's still a legend and he's still a massive name. And Shakur Stevenson, who I consider to be the best fighter in the world, called him out the other week. So again, I say this all the time. So all these dicks that go, oh, what? Oh, they're calling out Linares. We did not call out Linares, right? That name's been uttered about, and what we've said is if we're offered that fight, we will consider it. It's Jack's got to keep busy. He's got to keep momentum. What we're going to do, just like sit out and wait for something to happen? No, Jack's going to pick up momentum. For the first time in his career, really, Jack's never really had that momentum. And now he's boxed in May. He's going to box in latest October, and then he's going to box again no later than February. So we're going to really keep him busy. So what I'm saying again to all the plonkers that are saying, oh, he called them out. No, we've not called him out. We've said that we'll entertain a conversation if it comes up because he's a massive name. And I think it is relevant to this. Linares is like, not just saying this, he's a real personal friend of mine. He really is. Like, I absolutely love Jorge Linares. He's done a lot for me personally, and he's a friend for life. But again, business is business. And once Jack fights Jorge, we'll all go out for a steak afterwards, if if that fight happens. It might not happen. It might not even. As I say, I've had a low-key discussion about it with Eddie, but there's nothing concrete. I don't believe there's been any real offers made as of yet. But let's see. I mean, hopefully within the next 7 days, we will have some fight news for or at least a fight locked in for Jack Catterall, and I'm sure it could be announced in the next couple of weeks maximum. Because again, he's going to be fighting late September, October time. So yeah, it's exciting times for Jack. We're not going to mope about. We're going to keep busy and build momentum, get the rankings high. And listen, if we have to force a mandatory shot against somebody, then that's so be it. I believe he's the best 140 in the world, and he's prepared to prove it, which he's already done once. He'll do it again.
You mentioned Eddie Hearn there. I'm sure he's got a lot on his mind at the moment. We saw this morning that the WBC have removed Conor Benn from their rankings not long after reinstating him, which was a bit of a surprise, especially given, if it's due to inactivity, he was just as inactive before as he is now. Well, I suppose an extra month maybe on the list, but it does seem very strange. We're still waiting for the UCAD report to be released. We were told it was going to be last week, and it wasn't. And now we're waiting and waiting. And his team, Conor's team, seemed very confident that he would be cleared, or at least to some extent mitigated, or vindicated rather. But this delay and then the WBC removing him from the rankings is leading a lot of people online to speculate that perhaps he's not going to be cleared and he might have to serve some type of ban. What have you made of it all? What do you surmise from the information?
Listen, the whole situation from top to bottom has been handled badly, like PR-wise, everything. It's not looked on anyone's part. It's not looked great. But one thing's for certain, and I think everyone can agree on this, we just need an end to this now, because it's just becoming, one, it's becoming boring. Two, it's just like, this has been dragging on too long, far too long for everybody involved. For everybody involved. Everybody needs clarity in this situation. Let's hurry up. They need to get a move on, get this report out. And if Conor's going to be cleared, let him get on with his life. If he's not, he's not. But from what I'm hearing is his team are very confident of him being cleared. So let's see what happens. But ultimately, Danny, in answer to your question, it just needs a resolution to it, because it's just ridiculous now. It really is.
Okay. Talking of recent events, I had the opportunity to interview Frank Warren on Sunday. A lot of the stuff you'd expect in terms of defending the Fury and Ngannou fight, which we've talked about previously. But something he did say kind of hit out a little bit at Anthony Joshua for a supposed or a purported lack of ambition, because he's fighting Dillian Whyte for a second time. Whyte, of course, coming off an average performance against Jermaine Franklin, a clear defeat to Tyson Fury, rather than taking a WBC title shot that was offered to him. What do you make of those comments?
I heard it. Was it between himself and Adam Catterall on TalkSport?
We said that, and then they were going back and forth as well.
Listen. Frank Warren is a legend, and he's. I know George is doing a lot more of the stuff nowadays, but with Frank, look, he's an old school guy, and obviously when he sees, he's gonna back his guy. He's gonna protect his man. Tyson Fury, and I'll say this for the billionth time, and I know him on a personal level, known him many years, he's the best heavyweight in the world. Yeah, the best heavyweight in the world. But Tyson sometimes, when he comes out on social media and he says, you've got to the end of today to sign this contract, you've got to do this, you've got to, shut up, right? And get the fight made behind closed doors between all the people. Or meet up with Anthony Joshua yourself, because they both have each other's numbers. I know this for a fact. Sit down in a room with each other's teams and make the fight. It isn't, believe me, it's not hard. When both parties want to make a fight, the fight happens. Anthony Joshua, for me, has proved he will fight anybody. He's signed to fight Wilder at the end of the year. Do you know what I mean? And in between that, his warm-up fight, this is what it is. His keep busy fight is against Dillian Whyte. Could have boxed anybody. Anybody will box Anthony Joshua if offered the fight, because it's especially like below the Fury and the Usyk. Everyone will box Anthony Joshua because it's a lottery ticket. He's still that guy, and you saw that with the ticket sales with Dillian Whyte. Look, Tyson Fury is a massive name. His event with Ngannou will I'm sure will do very, very well numbers-wise. It's just not something I'm personally looking forward to. I don't look at that fight and go, wow, wow, can't wait for that. No, not interested in it. But going back to what I was saying about the Frank Warren comments about, oh, Joshua's not got any ambition. I respectfully disagree with Frank Warren. I think Anthony Joshua has lots of ambition. He's still like, Joshua could have gone an easy route. He could have boxed some unknown American with a good record, 1 or 2 defeats on the records, loads of them about, and dropped him in 2 rounds and not do anything. But he wants to fight Dillian Whyte for the fans. Anthony Joshua, he might have said some daft things, but Tyson Fury said some daft things. We all have in the past. But he's a people's champion, I think, Anthony Joshua. I really do think. I've got loads of respect for AJ. And look, he's giving the British boxing fans another banger with the Dillian Whyte fight, which I cannot wait to watch. And look, Fury's boxing a professional debutant and Anthony Joshua's boxing Dillian Whyte. So you can't really say he's not got any ambition. Do you understand what I mean? And I heard Adam Catterall say about that Mahmoud. I think, listen, in the business of boxing, Ngannou's a bigger fight. But what Catterall's basically saying is this: when Tyson Fury and Frank had come out and said, look, there's nobody available. There is people available. Yeah. There isn't people available with the commercial value of a Francis Ngannou or like a Usyk or it's not getting Tyson out of bed. Do you know what I mean? To fight a Mahmoudov or a Martin Bakole but it is things like that are the issue with boxing. And that's not just put onto Tyson Fury. That's like with everybody. Like, mandatories are there for a reason. And I think mandatories should be respected in boxing. I don't agree with the fact that BC have not placed a mandatory, because I do think Tyson Fury should have a WBC mandatory because it keeps the division hot. It gives these young challengers an opportunity to make some money and become the heavyweight champion of the world, which is the biggest prize in boxing. No, I waffled on there, but I think I made sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, they couldn't make a fight between the number 1 and the number 2, so just make the number 1 the mandatory.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They've allowed this vacuum into which Tyson stepped in and chose the best commercial option. It's hard to blame him.
And that's why I think people get a bit bothered with boxing sometimes, because there's no set stone rules. It's like that. This is when you need to do this. This is when you need to fight him, or you're stripped. Do you understand what I mean, Danny? Like, I just think that it goes back to when, listen, they were playing a lot of interviews of Eddie saying that, oh, Joshua against Ngannou's a great fight. Mate, I tried to make the Ngannou fight for Joe Joyce, mate. Of course, it's a good commercial. I'm not being a hypocrite, but I'm saying as WBC, Anthony Joshua at the time when this fight was being spoken about was not the WBC champion of the world. It's not holding the division up. Yeah. Like, in the meantime, somebody else could be challenging for that prestigious belt. Because, I mean, the green belt's a beautiful belt and everybody wants to fight for it. I just think, when are we going to see Tyson Fury defend the WBC belt now? Next year?
Yeah, well, it's going to be at least a year between.
Yeah, this is what I mean. And it is not me digging. Like, it isn't me digging at all. Because, like I say, I mean, I can't keep stressing it enough. Tyson, for me, is the premier heavyweight in the world. And I just think the premier heavyweight in the world shouldn't be having. Listen, I don't mind. Joe was a 6-round exhibition, and then he was boxing, I don't know, in September against a mandatory challenger. No problem. But
this is the thing. People have compared it to like Muhammad Ali fighting Antonio Inoki in place like, but that was one of 5 fights he had that year. The others all being proper boxing matches.
This is what I'm saying, Danny. That's all I'm saying. So I don't say look at them and go, oh, it's ridiculous. Because look, Frank Warren's a promoter. Frank Warren's an old school boxing promoter, and he knows how to make big events. He's done it for decades. So you can't fault them as a team to think, oh, it's a cash grab. It is. Nobody's got a problem with a cash grab. And Ngannou, from the background he's had, I hope he's making an absolute fortune, and he's got generational wealth afterwards. But circling back to what I was saying, I don't believe it's fair to hold up the division when you've got young challengers that haven't made anywhere near as much money as a Tyson Fury and a Anthony Joshua, and I'll put Deontay Wilder in that bracket. Let someone else fight for the belt, or you've got to keep the division hot. You can't just hold the division up and say, okay, we'll call a mandatory to challenger next year, because even if Tyson Fury fights the undisputed next year, which I really hope he does, I really, really hope he fights an undisputed fight next year, because it'll be a sad shame if Tyson retires and he's never been in a unification fight or an undisputed fight. Like, I just think it would be a shame for him, because somebody that's regarded as, people can say what they like about Tyson, but I think the wider audience regard Tyson as the #1 heavyweight in the world. I just think that he should be facing mandatories. He should be fighting a Magmudov, whatever his name is, and Bakolis and all that. Like, yeah, put Bakoli in those things, or just these up and coming challenges. I mean, look, Joe Joyce, I know he got beat in his last fight, but it's mental. He's not had a world title shot. It's crazy, isn't it, though? It is crazy. They could have made that. Listen, I'm waffling on, but I know what I mean. And obviously, if I've come out talking bollocks, it sounds like I'm talking bollocks. I kind of know what I mean with what I say.
I think you're making perfect sense. But another thing that's pissed off boxing fans this week, there's been a few, funnily enough, because there's not enough live boxing on. I think we're used to seeing it every weekend because there's no big fights recently. Now everyone's got other things to not get annoyed about. But it was on the Kingpin show at the weekend, which I didn't watch it, but it was on the Zone. I saw clips of it, and obviously we covered it. Danielle Hemsley, after her win, decided to flash the audience. Got her vaps out, yeah. And that's caused a wave of criticism, both online and most recently I saw from Eddie Hearn, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's more the bringing boxing into disrepute angle of it. I'm not sure how much I go along with that, but I wanted to get your take on it.
It's like, right, I can't use it. I'm trying to think of an analogy, but one thing Eddie said, which is true, and I've always said it, I said it's it isn't boxing. I don't mind, to be honest with you. Do you want to watch that Misfit stuff? I find it quite entertaining. I'm not going to lie anymore. Like, at the beginning, I was like, but it isn't boxing. It's like if you go and have a game of cuppies with your mate outside, or a game of Wally, which is what we used to call it, outside with your mates. It's not football, is it? Like, it's not a professional football. It's you having a kickabout with your mates. They just all have profiles, and there's a platform that's airing it. Shouldn't be called boxing. And listen, should she be doing that? No, I think it's not the most tasteful thing in the world, but there is a lot of fake outrage out there. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of fake outrage. Bear in mind, if a bloke did that and started swinging his sausage around, in the ring afterwards, there'd be a lot more heat on that guy, and his hard drive would get checked. Do you understand what I mean? So I think that it's being treated probably different because she probably is a woman, but nobody should really be doing that. Men or women shouldn't really be doing that in the film, because listen, there's kids watching it and whatnot. So you can't think, don't want your kids to watch that form of entertainment because you're scared some woman's going to get her flipping big cement blocks out. You don't want to. I don't really have an answer for it, Danny, because it's just kind of like the world we're in today, this weird social media driven, views driven world that we're in at the moment, mate. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm sure the worst person was a dad watching it, or whoever, a guardian, whoever is responsible for, who was once responsible for that girl, was probably feeling a lot worse than what the average Sharon and Steve who were outraged about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about fake outrage. I've got to ask, because I watched the Eddie Hearn, or the clip of the Eddie Hearn interview. I think it was from Boxing Socials. I want to give fair credit. And he said he hates it. He wants it to be disassociated with boxing. He wants nothing to do with it. However, it does share a platform with traditional boxing that Hearn, among others, promote on the Zone. And Eddie did kind of open the doors to an extent by working with Jake Paul and people like that.
Come on, Danny. I think we're reaching there. Like, I mean, putting Jake Paul and Logan Paul and KSI on a platform, having a bit of a amateur 14-ounce glove ding dong for over 3 rounds is hardly enticing women to get their tits out on television.
But it does open the floodgates. Like, boxing's always had a problem with the level of access being easy. It's easy to get into boxing compared to other sports.
Yeah.
But that's kind of started the ball rolling, if you like. I'm not saying it's Eddie's fault directly or anything like that, but I'm saying to now say, I hate it, get rid of it.
I just think there should be a line of where you draw it. Like KSI, yeah, I look at KSI and I think keeps fit, trains hard. You can see he trains hard, improving. I know he won with a multi-elbow last time, but he's improving as an Jake Paul. He trains hard. Do you know what I mean? He trains very hard. He puts his heart and soul into it. I don't mind that being like low-level boxing. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, right? Because they are low-level boxing. Yeah, it's low-level boxing. But when you see like that type of boxing and them two huge fellas, I don't want to be termed nutritional overachievers that were in the ring last time on DAZN, I think it was. Remember them two massive men? Like,
yeah, I've got the nutritional overachievers reference.
Yeah, that's like that's a disgrace. It shouldn't be on television. Do you know what I mean? That shouldn't be on and caught and being called. But it's not boxing. It's a couple of fellas having a flap. It's not boxing. And I think boxing it's like you can't put a shirt on with 11 people, another 11 people, and go, right, this is football, it's on DAZN. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you understand what I mean, Danny? But yeah. It's like at the same time, it's right. I think DAZN have AEW, yeah, wrestling, yeah. There's some questionable entertainment on that. It's the same kind of. That's.
I think everyone knows, at least these days. Sorry, kids, but professional wrestling is scripted entertainment.
Yeah, listen, for sure. And kids shouldn't have to. Parents shouldn't have to worry about watching that. I mean, it's a really hard one, Danny. It's a really hard one, but I think it's more of a generation problem more than a boxing problem. I mean, a woman getting their bangers out on television is at what time was it? 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock?
Not sure. As I say, I didn't watch it, but I saw the clips.
I don't know, Danny. I don't know. But what Eddie was saying is, I mean, listen, he'll get stick like regardless. But they should disassociate it to boxing. They should call it something else. I don't know. I don't know what they can call it, but it isn't boxing. It's not professional boxing.
Do you think, I mean, we're trying to look into his mind now, but do you think Eddie wishes he'd never worked with any of the YouTubers? Because I know it's different. It made a lot of money.
No, I don't think he does, right? Because KSI and Logan Paul, I'm sure made some good money out of it. And I'm sure, listen, if someone said to Eddie now, promote Jake Paul against KSI, which will probably be the biggest fight ever, like pay-per-view wise, it'd be enormous, something like that. But like, I can't be a hypocrite. Like, if Tommy Fury fights KSI, I will look forward to that fight. I'm not joking. Like, I'm not like lying. I can't say no. It's a disgrace. I'm looking forward to that fight if that fight happens, Danny. I'm not going to lie. So, I just think there should be a line where it can't be crossed, and like that is crossing the line. That isn't boxing. That doesn't represent boxing. I think that's the best way of putting it without me going around in the box and probably mumbling and stuttering. But it's hard to kind of answer a question like that, Danny, because it's just like, I think it's more of a morals thing as well. Like, I don't think a young lady should be getting her tits out on television. Like, if after she's just had a little dust up, whatever it was that she had. I didn't watch it personally, mate. I didn't watch it, and I just seen the clip. A few thousand million retweets, but I think that's part of the problem as well. Like you see people like retweeting it even as of today. Like, this is a like, she's probably gonna end up doing it again because she's seen the amount of publicity it's got her. It's like the more traction and attention you give it, it's like that little kid. I don't want to go off the subject too much, but it's like that little shit that goes around going in people's houses and stealing their dogs. And Mizzy, whatever his name is. Yeah, mate, the more you retweet him and look at his stuff, the more he's going to keep doing it, because you're giving somebody a platform to do that. If you just kind of went, right, you're pathetic, we don't want you on this show again, and it wasn't retweeted a million times, you're probably not going to see it again. But now there's this big outrage about it, you're probably going to see something like that again. I mean, I'd like to think not, but I don't know, Danny. I don't know, mate. I'm not a flipping expert in the get your tits out subject, so I don't know, mate.
I'm not sure who is. We'll get Katie Price on the channel. We'll see what she thinks. But
yeah,
no, I appreciate it anyway. I mean, it's good to kind of hash it out and see what we think and stuff. But yeah, fingers crossed it doesn't happen on the next Kingpin show, or any show for that matter.
Exactly. Yes.
Not on the Joshua White show for sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, mate. I really appreciate your time. Let's do it again soon. And yeah, let's hope Jack's got a fight in the diary by the time we do.
He will, mate. He will. But yeah, top man, Danny. I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Take care, mate. See.
Bye-bye, mate.